And we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream of Bible Illustrated Hands. No special plans for the day. We will just draw, talk, converse, and all of that good stuff. 20 seconds and nobody's in, according to plan. In your charity, please remember the servant of God, Dragan. He's a friend of mine. He's the father of a friend of mine. He died. This is the fourth death from cancer, and the fourth parent of some of my friends. So all of these cancer deaths are simply piling up, and God knows why it is. A lot of Serbs generally think that it is because of the NATO bombarding in '99, because we were showered with depleted plutonium. I really hope that's not the case, but you know, who knows? God forbid it's that. I hope to draw for you guys the part of a video that I will publish on Sunday, hopefully, and pray that I do. Oh, congratulations, Mike. I'm so glad to hear that. Here, the issue is because our healthcare is in a problematic state. People don't have a whole lot of money. A lot of our children generally go abroad to, for cures and to get treatment and so on, and it's really problematic. Wish it wasn't like that, but it is what it is, as Em would like to say. Yeah. When I pray, I generally like to mention especially those who have that suffer from grievous illnesses, and those who don't even know that they're sick. You never know who has something, who's struggling with something. It's a curse. But I'm so glad that the Lord has given us Saint Nectarius. And if you guys don't know who he is, he was a Greek bishop from 20th century. He might have, gotten from 19th to 20th centuries, and he's sort of famous as a healer from cancer. And usually in Orthodox Church, when people are when people are sick, they will pray to Saint Nectarius for healing. Oh yeah, thanks. I wasn't really sure about the years, so I apologize for not starting to draw as of yet. I'm trying to locate a certain drawing because I want to use a model from one of my other drawings, but it is sort of difficult to locate at the moment. I hope to start soon, and I'm especially annoyed because all of my icon sizes in desktop, so not icons as in holy icons, but desktop icons, all of them have started to display as a list, which is very annoying. Most of them were like bigger icons, but now it's all, so I have to take extra. I hope you didn't do research on him for the reasons most people know about him, Lisa. Well, to be quite honest, Daniel, this is the first time I hear it that Constantinople is the second Jerusalem. Personally, I really dislike such, you know, third Rome, fourth Rome, third squared Jerusalem. You know, Jerusalem's Jerusalem, and Rome's a Rome. You know, there's people have some fascination with these old empires that have lasted for so long, that have created major influence upon civilizations that we have right now. But you know, they're dead and gone. Okay, they work their powerful influence on us yet, but I don't think that we should cling that much to them, you know. But that is just my opinion, you know. Hi, some guy. Yeah, Alexander, I like to joke about Winnipeg. Hi, Franklin. Nice to see you. Okay, I finally found a drawing. It was from the Epistle to Romans. I sort of didn't expect it to be there. I assumed it was among those middle epistles, like Ephesians, Colossians, and so on, but you learn something new every day. This is for a video that's going live on Sunday. I hope I finish it by then. By the way, Sunday is my birthday, so I hope to have that video finished, and if I do, it will be the longest Bible illustrated video to date. It will be around 15 minutes, and I checked. I don't think that even on Bible Illustrated Hands I've had a video that lasted that long. So that's something. And I think that you guys will like it a lot. I don't want to spoil it what it was, but I guess. Thanks, Mike. I guess you maybe could guess what it is based on my recent updates on the community page. But I think it will be really interesting. And hopefully not too controversial. Hopefully. But we'll see. So it's not my birthday yet, it's on Sunday. Dankeschön, Alexander. This one's not so much controversial as much as it stands on the toes of a lot of people, you know? And it may even stand on yours. It stands on mine. I heard that too, some guy, but I never heard it, you know, as in... I simply heard it as something that might have been done, but I was always sort of skeptical of that claim, you know? Because... such claims tend to be dangerous, so I would tend to ignore them myself. Hi, Edward. Well, I love St. George. One moment, please. This is my icon of St. George. I mean, I didn't paint it. It was painted by an iconographer that I know. I love it a lot. He's my patron saint of my entire family. And he will be the patron saint of my family, because that is how we do it in Serbia. You inherit your patron saint from your family, and when a woman marries into another family, she takes the patron saint of that family. But it's not uncommon for for the woman to sort of keep celebrating her old patron saint, and I support that practice because, for example, just because my sister got married does not mean that Saint George suddenly stopped praying for her. It just means that she's got an additional heavenly patron. In this case, Saint Olympius of the Pillar. Let me just reposition. Okay, thank you, Saint George, for featuring in my video. Sorry for the hold up. It would take me too much time for me to hang the icon again. Well, Daniel, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that iconographers are sort of expected, to be orthodox, to be pious, to live Christian lives, but in practice they might not even believe in God. They might just like icon painting, or are there simply for the money. That's not really unheard of, and you can technically have wonder-working icons from even icons that were made by such people, So, while yes, you should, pray and keep up the fast of the church while being an iconographer, in practice there is no inquisition that would enforce that. And I mean, I agree that you shouldn't really have such a thing, but because icon isn't just a picture, icon is also a depiction of theology. And if you, for example, don't believe in God, you're not Orthodox, why paint an icon in the first place? Hi, Joan. Or Juan, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. You know what? It is sort of difficult to answer this because yes, I think it is necessary, but in the sense that Orthodoxy has kept the unspoiled apostolic tradition. I don't believe that all Protestants go to hell, far from it, but I do think that they're missing out on some very key aspects to the faith that may damage their relationship to the Lord, even if they think that their relationship is pretty strong, based on sort of informal approach to Him. Again, not all Protestants do that, but it is very popular among evangelicals to have these relaxed hymns, to call Christ and God like buddy, friend, and so on. And okay, God is our friend, but we also need to have some proper context, even of such things, Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much. Costas, I wouldn't say hate is the right word, but yeah, Serbs are generally not huge fans of the U.S. For two primary reasons. The first is that we were bombarded during the 90s for wanting to keep our to keep our piece of our territory within our country, that is Kosovo, and we had a military intervention there. For some reason, that was proclaimed a war crime, and then we were showered with depleted uranium, I think. I remember the bombardment quite well. I was how old I was? 13. I remembered it quite well, and while I liked it because it was exciting, we didn't go to school. All of the things that kids love, essentially. Um, my mother got very ill. I remember her like uh, because of all the stress, she sort of oh, so that's how it looks like. Thanks, Nicola. Okay, this is the first time this happens, so thanks. Hvala, Nicola. Hvala ti mnogo. Okay, so thanks. Okay, that's very generous of you. Okay, so where was I? Yeah. So anyway, she was very sick because of all of the stress. Oh no, I mixed up the pencil. You will see this in the video. Because of all of the stress, she had a lot of issue with her kidneys. And I remember waking her up after a nap, and it was raining, and she was, sort of delirious. She looked out the window, and then she looked at the other, and then she looked at the balcony, and she was like, "Why, look, it's raining on that side, and then it's raining on the other side," you know." So yeah, that's the first reason, because we were bombarded, and second is because the U.S. is firm supporter of Kosovo's independence, which is doing no one favors, Albanians and Kosovo included, because they claim that they're, that now they're like they claim they're like independent, but when you go to Kosovo, you see flags of tons of countries that sort of support, their independence. But it's not there. It is a failed country. It is the Somalia of Europe, and all of that. I personally think that this is an attempt by some clandestine evil forces to cut up countries and to make them more, easy to manipulate. Because strength is found in numbers, and don't, that old story, you take an arrow, it is easy to snap, but if we hold together, we're difficult. You know that story, and it's true. So those are the two primary reasons. I myself, but then again, practically all of the Serbs, if not all, do differentiate between Americans and American government, and we do realize that majority of Americans are simply unaware and or uninterested in what happens to a small Balkans country. I can't blame them for that. Like, we can't list American states and so on. So that's one answer. Well, Mike, the sole prayers that I know that are said during icon paintings is supposedly the Jesus prayer. But then again, you can ritualize. You can you can ritualize the icon painting as much as you want. You can read the ecstasies before and after. You can paint only when you take communion. You can ask for a special blessing. So. And Edward, no, I don't have a baptismal name because in Serbia we generally don't have that. My baptismal name would most probably be John, because I was baptized on the feast day of Saint John the Warrior. But in Serbia, he's practically an unknown saint. In Russia, he's more popular. In Serbia, for example, I don't think I have ever seen an icon of Saint John. Um, so no, I do have a friend, and I'm his godfather, who took the name of Raphael, but that is very, unusual, because when the priest was baptizing him, he practically said, "The servant of God, Raphael, is being baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." So what makes an icon different from mere religious art? Um, okay, first, they don't have to be made in a specific style to be valid, and people like to say that only Byzantine style is only valid. That isn't true, but there is some truth to it, because Byzantine style focuses more on the essence than on the historical reality. You know, let me show you this. Okay, let us say that you have an icon of Jesus Christ and a realistic painting of Jesus Christ. On a realistic painting, there is technically nothing on it that would indicate that Jesus is Christ. He is just a guy who has a beard. He may be more or less handsome, beautiful, pleasant to the eye. Even the fathers are torn whether he was beautiful or not. Um, you would probably recognize him because, wearing of a white prayer shawl or something like that, but that's about it. However, the icon is portraying the essence behind what we can perceive by an eye. For example, you have a halo, which indicates a holy person, or in this case, the source of holiness himself, Christ. You have the inscription, which clearly marks who is depicted on the icon. You have the cross, which marks the Lord. You have I am who I am, again indicating that he is the great I am of the Old Testament, again clearly making that he is the Lord. Then he's holding the gospel. He's blessing us with his most holy name. He's wearing red vestments, which indicate his divinity, but he's wearing also blue vestments because they symbolize his humanity, so that his humanity is vested in his divinity is vested in his humanity. And it is the opposite on the icons of the Most Holy Theotokos, because she wears blue robes that are covered with red, so she is human, who has partook of the divine nature, like we all do through the sacraments and prayer and so on. So that is why the style, while not essential, is very important. And again, it doesn't have to be Byzantine. You have Georgian icons, which are sort of similar, but you can differentiate them relatively easy. Ethiopians are especially easy to differentiate, but all of them have an advantage over purely naturalistic approach. So I hope I helped you. Nice to see that you're going to the Orthodox Church, Pathy. Hope you like it. Oh man, okay. Creeping things, I don't know. Whack it with a newspaper on its backside and it will probably stop eating trash. I have never really been, to a Greek festival, but I do hope to attend someday. I think that they're really interesting. I really like Greek culture, cuisine. Then again, I suppose I can say that I like pretty much all cultures, but all of cultures have something unwholesome. Their specific issues that they're dealing with. So guys, tell me, what do you think that the next video is? That's curious to see if there's anything. Edward, Saint Patrick is considered a saint in the Orthodox Church. The golden rule of the thumb: if they're a saint in Catholic Church and have died before 1054, they are considered a saint in the Orthodox Church. I think that there are very few exceptions to this case, and I don't know. Well, I'm glad, Heather, that most of them don't want to be involved in wars. But, we all know that wars are a great money-making machine. I think it would be difficult to break free from it, so... No, it's not about the dangers of despair, but nice attempt. I do hope that at one point I will try to sort of, make a video about despair, because I think that, oh man, I took the dark blue one instead of the black, because I think it is a big issue of today. And while Kurzgesagt channel is very nihilistic in its approach, I think that their video on loneliness is spot on and very helpful to people in general, I just wish they mingled a little more Christ into that video, and okay, I can't imagine them. Oh, thanks, JG. Thank you so much. I wish that they included more Christ into their approach, but I really can't expect that from a secularist channel that is that sort of takes a lack of proof of God to be a proof of the non-existence of God. Oh, I will pray for you, Liam. It's no, Justin, you're not. You need to be baptized to be an Orthodox Christian. You can be a catechumen. That means a person who is preparing for a holy baptism. I don't know about the Alexandria situation. What happened? Generally, I don't really follow much news, because I do think that news in general only causes anxiety and so on. So, not a huge fan of following news and such. Wait, with the Alexandrian Church? Why, did they side with Constantinople, or... This is the first... Oh, man. It is fascinating that practically simultaneously, both in Orthodoxy and Catholicism, you have big, huge issues that are tied to their respective systems. Ah, okay. So they served with schismatics. You mean the Constantinople, or someone else? But anyway, thing is, yeah. Well, yeah, I wouldn't say it was the most, prudent of moves, but oh well. So yeah, Orthodoxy is sort of suffering because we lack central authority, and Catholicism is suffering because and Catholics are suffering because they do have central authority. So I think it is just a sign of the times. Mike, stop it. Okay, guys, I have to mention this. Mike, sorry to embarrass you a little bit, but Mike, uh, if I had a kid, Mike could easily finance its college tuition due to all of his support, you know? So thank you so much, but cut it. You're already doing too much. Oh, by the way, Mike, I want to show you something. I do hope Angela is not looking at this. That this will become your Saint Mark's. You know probably what I mean. Hopefully. I will start as soon as the birthday festivities are over. I usually make a big deal out of my birthday. You probably can tell from my channel because I always post on my birthday. And I make it very clear that it's my birthday. And thank you, Mama Bear. Thank you so much. Tomorrow I'm having friends over, and it will be a huge number of people because I have a lot of friends and I try to keep up, my friendship with them. And the reason why I don't post as much video on my main channel is because I have to keep up with all of those people, and I think that is very important. Tomorrow I celebrated with my coworkers. Tomorrow I'll celebrate with my friends, and on Sunday I'll celebrate with. You will spoil me. Mike, you're supporting me so much that maybe it would be best if you would send me a list of controversial subjects that you don't want me to cover. My sound editor is borderline anti-vaxxer, So I am trying not to mention that too much. But again, we're all one in Christ, so thank God. So, why was I even mentioning my birthday? Yeah, anyway, once the birthday festivities are over, I'll start doing that drawing for you. And it will be part of the Bible Illustrated, of course. Mama Bear, yes, you can attend a Coptic liturgy or Catholic Mass or whatever if you don't receive the Eucharist. To be quite honest, sometimes I go to the Mass because I like the rite, when it is served reverently, and in Serbia it is served reverently. But of course I don't receive the Eucharist, and I don't plan to receive it ever until communion between the two churches is restored, which I doubt will happen soon, but we are all praying for the unity, and that is something that we should all pray for, Kai, no. Well, actually, streamer, no, but okay, I have to tell you guys something. I turned on super chats because somebody asked me to, and I only noticed the option today, so okay, fine, I turned it on and I started the stream, and suddenly you guys are way too generous. So, my plan was okay. Before I had the Bible Illustrated channel, but after my Bible Illustrated project kicked off, I had no idea. I knew that I would have to make my project financially viable in order for me to complete the entire Bible. Then the channel kicked in, and I was like, okay, maybe I can become a full-time YouTuber, but I didn't know how. Because it took me a lot of time and Okay, this is what happens when. This is what happens. Okay, this is what happens when you stream holding your phone on a in a pencil mug with among the pencils. You can kick it and it falls. So anyway, it took me a lot of time to actually get monetized, and the YouTube doesn't pay you a whole lot, but by Serbian standards, I would say that they're very generous, but not still enough, to sustain me full time. However, with streaming, it just might happen, but it is still sort of risky. I have to check with the tax authorities how does the all money go through. So. Me becoming full-time Bible illustratorist is something that can happen within a year or two. So I like Saint Theophan, Alexander. I think that there are actually two: Saint Theophan the Recluse and Saint Theophan the New Recluse. To be quite honest, I can't really tell them apart. There's one that has written a lot of letters to his to his spiritual children, but I read and I like him. I think he was pretty down to earth. And Edward, I haven't seen Ben Hur. I haven't seen a lot of classics, and in Serbia, I can't even tell my friends which classical Serbian movies I haven't seen because they would get scandalized. And it is a shame. But, we never really watched Serbian media in our household for no specific reason. We just didn't. Not something my father or mother ever did. So I'm catching up with Serbian classics and with classics in general. By the way, speaking of classics, when I was watching Citizen Kane, I spoiler warning, but you know what happens at the very end, which resolves the movie. I didn't pay close attention to the scene, and I missed the entire point of the movie. I don't want to spoil it for two people who haven't seen it, and younger people who probably. Thanks, Brooks. Thank you so much. Hi, Sean Wu. I think that's how you pronounce your name, so. Some guy. What's my favorite color? It really depends. Generally, it's blue. Generally. Oh, by the way, I want to show you guys. Let me see. In most of my videos, oh wait, I wear this like stripped shirt. I want to show you how it looks on the videos. A moment. Well, sorry, it's being washed. So I want to show you that shirt, but it's being washed. So it'll wait for another stream. Do American dollars go a lot further in your country? Well, it really okay. For some reference, you can buy a bread, a loaf of bread. Okay, let me put it this way. In my previous workplace, I earned about $400 a month. So my yearly salary was about times 12. $4,800. That was my yearly salary. So you can guess how much far a dollar goes in my country. Justin, what happens if one were to pass without being baptized then? Well, Justin, generally it was understood by the church that people who were preparing for baptism, that they were considered Christians and were given, Christian burial rites and everything. However, people who weren't Christians at all, people, for example, who didn't know Christ and so on, St. Paul tells us that for them, their natural law is that they have inscribed into their hearts is the standard by which they will be judged. And, it is not surprising because all societies of the world have very similar norms, what it means to be, a good person, or at least like things like don't murder, don't kill, help others. These are pretty much universal. Of course, Christianity optimizes that to a large degree, and yes, it is important for us to get baptized, but the Orthodox Church has also always emphasized the importance of baptism because it is something that restores our proper relationship with the Lord, which is also very important. So while the church, I think that officially church is mostly silent on the specific fate of the unbaptized, but being unbaptized is seen as something that is sort of dangerous spiritually, So the Lord is sole judge. We can't know, we pray for the best. That's about it. Hi, Gigi. By the way, Gigi, I always wanted to attend a Western Rite church, but, never had a chance. When I was visiting my spiritual father in 2013 in Texas, he really wasn't a fan of Western Rite, so I didn't want to, I didn't want to convince him to, take me to one, because then he would have to stay, and he finds Western Rite services boring and everything. And besides, he's a priest, so he would have to be somewhere else at the time. So I missed my so far only opportunity. Okay. Okay, sorry. Hello, Pepflow. Well, Pepflow, I don't know if you're having your confession with a priest who was in charge of your catechumenate, but he should, he should have at least to tell you what you should say during the confession. If strictly before confession, you should probably say that this is your first time confessing, that you're very nervous, but that you're there to have your sins forgiven primarily, and so on. So, you will be nervous, but once it's over, I think that St. Paul says it nice. It's like birth pangs. It hurts, but once the joy of forgiveness comes, you forget about the worry you had. As far as communion, technically you should be able to have communion right after your confession, but again, this is something that is best left to your priest, so please ask him. This is I can give some general advice, but when it comes to communion, you must go by what your priest says, even regardless of how much I or anyone else disagrees with it. Go with your priest, Costas, will you be doing any verse-by-verse Bible study videos? Well, actually, Bible interpreted videos on my main channel are something like that. I basically hope to cover hope, heavy emphasis on hope, to cover majority of verses in Bible through Bible interpreted. But um, because they already have to draw the entire Bible, because they have to keep up the video channel, stay fit, which I'm not, keep up with the Kardashians and friends and family and everyone else, and drink enough water and be happy. I doubt I'll be able to do it. And no, I haven't listened to the Kanye West album Jesus is King. I never listened to the guy. I will give it a listen eventually and share my thoughts, but until then. Yeah, I heard that there's a large crypto Christian movement in Turkey, but I also heard that it exists especially in China. Though in China it is primarily Pentecostals, but man, I'll have Pentecostals over communists any day. They may be tad crazy and wacky, but at least they love Christ. So. Nathaniel Adams. Hey Boyan, do you think incels should become monks? I asked Jay Dyer this question and he unequivocally, I apologize, said yes. No, I don't think that incels should become monks. I have a opposite opinion of Jay Dyer. Why? Let me quote a nun here in Serbia. She was in this show. By the way, guys, my battery is running low, so I will quickly go over all of your questions. She said the news reporter asked her, "But you're so beautiful. Why are you in a monastery?" And she said, "You go to a monastery because not because you're disappointed. You go into monastery because you're enchanted. That is, you don't go to monastery because you're disappointed in life or because you can't get laid, as insults, but because you're so in love with God that you don't want to be separated for Him." So I think that is a very bad idea for these sorts of people to become monks until they're certain of their love of God. That does not mean that their life is perfect, that they're sinless. No, that's not it. But they need to love God first. And if they love God first, then fine. All of insults can become monks. But if not, no. Does someone have to be rebaptized in order to join an Orthodox church? Edward, generally no. If they're baptized in the name of the Most Holy Trinity, that is, and they're dunked 3 times, but it's the prerogative of the bishop. Have you attended Syriac Orthodox service before? No. What are some Serbian classics? I'll write you an email. Hi, Russian Spy. I have to rush because my battery is slowly dying very fast. Okay. What do you think of Eastern Rite Catholics like the Melkites and the Ukrainians? Sean, I think there's I answered that in one of my Q&A videos. I can't remember which one. I think it was 5th or 6th. Was that middle class living $400 per month? Sort of. No, it is lower end. But bear in mind that this was wage for a graduate of law university that speaks perfect English. Now situation is much better, but man, it did worry me a lot at the time. So okay. Tedious, I know, but sometimes I have to be on the go, and I'm like, I will try to be better with announcements. Thank you so much. Hey, Tedious, no, it's not my birthday, but it's on Sunday, and I'm making a video for Sunday. Okay, 10% battery. What's a Droiper Landobert? I have to Google it. Oh, well, I could. Hello, Heather. Is Russian Orthodox Church's involvement on domestic violence completely a private matter? Can you be more specific? I'm just not. Hello, hello. What do you think of Catholics venerating and honoring Orthodox saints? I don't mind it. That's fine. I do mind the reverse, because from Orthodox point of view, Catholic saints are not saints. I mean post-schism saints. They might be, but they haven't gone because because they're not part of the Orthodox Church. Their holiness is questionable. So Thaddeus, I don't think it's a good thing. I think that this is something that church needs to arrange together. We all need to come together and say, okay, this is how we will deal with autocephaly. I don't think that it is a good thing, And I assume that the Patriarch of Alexandria is a Greek. I'll have to check. No, I can't change the battery without interrupting the stream, so... Droiper. Edward, if you were baptized while you were a Catholic, then it was a Trinitarian baptism, so you're fine. 5%. Okay, guys, I have to go. Thank you so much for the stream, and thanks a lot for donations. I didn't expect there will be any, much less so much. I will try to be regular on Fridays with the streams, and I will probably have them at the same time. However, life happens. I may not be, but I will announce it on the community page of my main channel. So it's Bible Illustrated without hands, and there's the sort of face of me on the icon if you're not subscribed there. So, well, hello. Catholic Church has a bit of a different approach towards saints. They don't mind Orthodox saints so much because they simply see us as being in schism, whereas Orthodoxy sees Catholics as being also in heresy, and that's the primary issue. Okay, okay. Time for me to go. Bye, guys, and thank you so much for the stream. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. I will be starting that drawing soon. I apologize if I missed somebody's question, but again, leave them in the comments. I will get to them eventually. Bye, guys. See you.